Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Trade Stock. I'm your host, Justin White, and this is weekly update number 30, the first episode of January 2026. Excited to dive in, excited for what 2026 has in store for us. And if you guys tune in on these weekly, sorry I missed you last week. Had a little bit of a cold and decided, hey, I'm going to take a week off after 29 episodes. So last week, a little Christmas vacation break, but we're back. We're back in action and ready to get to it. Look, today we're going to be talking about why 2026 is the year of the disruptor. Why 2026 is going to be taken and succeeded by those who try new things, who experiment, who lean into change, who embrace the unknown. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And before we get to that, I just wanted to kind of just reset things as we turn the page from 25 to 26 and take a quick look back on 2025. It was an incredible year. So appreciative of everybody who tunes into this weekly update and our Wednesday episodes on Trade Stock where we have a guest on. This is one of my favorite things to do every week is to sit down with a guest or sit down here with you guys and just talk about what's going on. Talk about what's going on at K&D Landscaping, talk about what's going on in the trades industry. And we don't get too far outside of that, to be honest. I mean, there's enough podcasts and people talking about politics, the wars that are going on, and everything else crazy in our world. And I think this is a nice little break from that. So I try to stay away from that stuff, and I try to focus primarily on our industry, on the blue collar industry, on the trades industry. And I got to say, it's exciting because if you pay attention and listen to what's going on, you hear people that are extremely well educated and experienced in the business realm. You have people like Alex Hormozy, Tony Robbins. I don't know if you like him or not. I'm kind of neutral on him, but this guy, Grant Cardone, they all are talking about how the trades are it's the next big thing. We know the trades have been a big thing. I mean, it's changed my family's life over the last 10 years dramatically. And so many people I know, like my buddy Gavin, who got into the electrical union 2 years ago and is a second-year apprentice, he's making more money than he ever has as an apprentice, and he's working on these data centers in San Jose and Palo Alto. And I can't say too much because a lot of what he does is very private, very secretive, very they kind of keep things closed down on these job sites because, well, they're building these massive billion-dollar data centers. And it's not just the electricians that are making money and having jobs created by these data centers. It's every trade out there. It's the roofers, the glazers, the drywallers, the plumbers, the go on and on, right? There's just so many amazing trades. It's even landscaping. You don't really think about landscaping when we talk about data centers, but you know, whether we like it or not, California and many other states require big factories to be landscaped. And I think that's really important because otherwise we end up with these concrete jungles and all of these huge structures with no green space around them. So if we're going to create these non-permeable structures, which hopefully they aren't permeable, right? You don't want your roof to leak. We need to create green spaces around those. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And when you look at campuses like technology campuses like Apple or Netflix or Google, you'll see a huge emphasis put on the landscape side of things. And it's beautiful. It's what makes the Silicon Valley one of the most beautiful areas. And a lot of people, I think, they look and think about the Silicon Valley and they think of probably a bunch of skyscrapers and a bunch of concrete. But when you fly into there, you'll see all you see is treetops. They've done an amazing job of curating these beautiful campuses. And when you walk through Google, when you walk through the Apple campus, it's hard to deny the feeling you get because of the landscaping. So enough on my landscape soapbox. The trades are alive and well. And the blue collar industry is one of the best industries to be in today. And not only is it one of the best industries to be in today, it's one of the best industries to be in for the next 10 plus years. If you are doing work at a computer, or if you are doing work that requires you to sit and type at a computer, that job may eventually get replaced by AI or augmented with AI. When you are moving atoms and you are moving things like dirt, soil, I guess it's the same thing, and you're moving material around and building things like taking wood and building a house, AI is not taking your job anytime soon. Yes, Elon Musk talks about the robotics and the humanoid robots that are going to take away all of the labor aspect jobs like digging trenches. I just don't see it being the low-hanging fruit for them to climb up on ladders and install roofing or to go under a house and install piping. I don't see that happening in the next 5 to 10 years. So not only are those industries safe, but they're an area where we should be investing, an area as a country, as a community, as a society, we should be investing not only in today's workforce, but the workforce of tomorrow. And that's a big part of this podcast. It's shining a light on these exciting areas of the trades, interviewing people who have created amazing lives because they've built a landscape company or a roofing company or a house building, custom home building company. It's really amazing. Now I want to get into our topic. Let's pivot a little bit into why 2026 is a year of the disruptor. And I think before we really go into that at a deep level, I'm going to explain what is a disruptor. And I'm going to be using some references from authors and philosophizers that have come before me. Then in next week's episode, I'm going to talk about why the disruptor is so important to embrace and be a part of that. And then finally, on the episode in 2 weeks, I'm going to share with you guys how you can leverage that and how you can become a disruptor. And I think most of you guys already are embracing a lot of disruptor tendencies and embracing the disruptor mindset. But I want to show you exactly how you can implement that on a day-to-day basis, make it more intentional. And together, this forms what I call the disruptor advantage or the disruptor's advantage. So we're going to break that out. It's going to be, what is a disruptor? Why should you be looking at this? And how do you leverage this disruptor mindset, this disruptor ethos going into 2026? So this will be a 3-part series this week, next week, and the following week. I'll also be doing a keynote on this topic, Disruptor's Advantage, in New Orleans, January 29th at 11 a.m. So if you guys want to tune in to that, come to Synced Live in New Orleans. We're also hosting a party there, the Disruptor Social After Party, which will be a blast. We got a pretty cool bar rented out in New Orleans, so make sure to check that out. And if you want tickets, hit me up. Also, just another little thing, I'll be at Leanscaper January 20th and 21st in Scottsdale, Arizona. Should be a great time. So if you guys have not been to a Leanscaper event yet, your tickets are free and they're on me. So send me a DM, send me a text, whatever you need, email, however you get a hold of me. LinkedIn and Instagram are probably the best, and I will get you hooked up with tickets for either of those events. All right, let's jump into it. January 2nd. So what does it mean to be a disruptor? Well, I tie being a disruptor back to, there's a lot of amazing people I can tie this back to, and it goes really far back. But the first person that I think who really started to coin the phrase disruptor or disruptive was Clayton Christensen in the late 90s. Now, Clayton Christensen taught at Harvard. He wrote multiple books, the most famous one being The Innovator's Dilemma. He studied why great companies fail. And at the thesis and the core root of his idea around the innovator's dilemma is that great companies fail because they keep doing great things well. Great companies fail because they keep doing great things well. Now, when a great company finds something that is their unique selling proposition or their unique value proposition, they put all their focus into it. What's our ideal client, and what's our differentiator, and how do we grow this client segment, and how do we say no to everybody else? And I think that's a great exercise to go through, and I think you should be strategic on who you work with. But what you end up doing is, if you only focus on that area, and I'm going to use an example that everybody knows and can relate to, when you only focus on that area and that niche, you potentially miss out on the changing tides of the industry. This happened famously to Blockbuster, right? So Blockbuster was so good at the rental side of movies, renting VHS and then DVDs, Blu-ray DVDs, that they ended up going out of business. Because as the industry shifted to streaming and buying things online, they still were stuck on brick and mortar. Now, they were the best brick and mortar DVD rental in the world, definitely the United States, undisputed champion. But if no one is going to brick and mortar and buying rented DVDs, it doesn't matter how good you are at that. So that's really the innovator's dilemma. That is really what this core issue that is in front of us is asking, is what you're doing becoming obsolete? Is how you're doing it becoming obsolete? Are there other people that are doing things so differently than you that no matter how good or bad that they do that thing, just simply because it's different, it is starting to become more desired? I'm going to give you an example in the landscape industry that I have personally experienced over the last 12 months. A year ago, as many of you guys know, we went all electric for our maintenance fleet. So we got rid of all of our gas blowers, gas weed eaters, gas lawnmowers, and went electric. And what we found is, because we were doing something different, we had clients who sought us out and hired us because of the electric offering, not because we were the best landscaper or the best maintenance provider for that specific site. Now, I would argue our maintenance services are top tier, but the interesting thing is we weren't selling on that aspect. We weren't even talking about that. We were simply saying, look, if we assumed that the two other competitors that we're bidding against are great landscapers, and I believe they are, then you have three great landscapers in front of you. You really can't make a bad decision. So what's the next course of decision making? Well, it's price. Okay, well, let's assume, because it's a bit of a commodity today in landscape maintenance, that we're all the same price, or within 5%. Okay, so they all do great services and they're all about the same price. Now what? Well, these guys are gas-powered blowers, weed eaters, edgers, lawnmowers. We know what that's like. The third guys, these guys K&D at the table, they're all electric. And when you hear the all electric and we do a demo for them side by side, they go, whoa, that is really nice. And because quality of services are the same or comparable, pricing is the same or comparable, and you have this innovative offering that's all electric, we end up landing the job. And that is a great example of why being a disruptor is going to be an advantage in 2026. Because it's not so much about being the best or the cheapest or the fastest. It's about being different. People want different. People want innovative. People want new. People want to know that you are on the cutting edge of technology and innovation in your industry. The buyer of tomorrow, the buyer of 2026, wants to know that you are investing in the future, because they want to know that you're going to be a partner that is valuable to partner with for the long term, not just today, not just tomorrow, but for the next 3 to 5 years. And when I think about this and I look back 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot of differentiation within the landscape industry. It was hard to differentiate. We'd spend hours sitting around the boardroom table coming up with ideas and always being let down and not really finding anything majorly disruptive. So what the disruptor is in 2026 is that person that's embracing change. That person is embracing experimentation. That person that is trying new things simply to try new things and testing the results and then applying the lessons learned. You have to be curious if you're going to embrace the disruptor's mindset. You have to be respectful of the past, respectful of the traditions of your industry. Because if you completely abandoned all traditions, I think you open up yourself you open up yourself potentially to lose in the marketplace. I think there are some things that have been developed over the last 40, 50, 100 years in most trades industries that we should respect. For example, safety, right? Safety isn't a new idea, but it's something we should all keep at top of mind. It's not like we're going to come in and have some new safety program that revolutionizes everything. You might utilize the technology to do that. But if you abandon safety in pursuit of disruption, you're not necessarily going to be successful. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Another example around being a disruptor and what that means in 2026 is it means taking bets. Or should I say it means making bets. See, when you make a bet, you take capital, money, resources, energy, time. You take assets and resources. You invest them into an idea or a new way of doing things. This is called a bet. In poker, we bet chips, and the better your hand, the more chips you're often going to bet. So when you come up with an idea or a team or an idea experiment, that is an opportunity to make a bet on that experiment, make a bet on the results of that experiment and go all in. One of the things that we're going all in with is AI. And we are going all in with Leanscaper.ai. And that's a big movement for us because historically we have not embraced the Leanscaper operating system. We have kind of stayed away a little bit, kind of hung out on the fringes. Well, January 1st, here we are, January 2nd, we are going all in on Leanscaper.ai. That's why we're going to be at the Leanscaper Intensive in February, in March, in July, and October. All 4 this year, we've already signed up. We're committed because we believe that AI and integration of AI with your operations is going to be the true differentiator, one of, in 2026. So hopefully that gives you guys something to chew on. I could talk about this for hours, and that's kind of why I said I'm going to explain what being a disruptor is, give you guys some examples, and next week I'm going to talk about why the disruptor is truly going to disrupt things in 2026. So hope you guys enjoyed this Trades Talk episode, this weekly update. It's January 2nd, ready to get to it. Make sure to tune in next week on Wednesday for a special episode of Trades Talk that I'm going to walk with you guys, a process that I go through every year around setting goals and give you guys a step-by-step instruction manual on how to set goals for 2026. Until then, keep disrupting and keep raising the bar. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Trades Talk, where the next generation of disruptors comes to raise the bar. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone in the trades who's ready to level up. For more tools, insights, and community, follow host Justin White and join the movement at jwhitegroup.com.